Hey everybody, welcome to Lex's World, and I am standing in front of a big old box that just arrived in my mail. And inside the box, this is what there was, a big fold-out grow LED light. And yeah, this fellow is quite huge. In fact, let's fold it out right now to give you guys an idea of the size. There it is. But while this looks pretty big, this is actually the little cousin of a light that I reviewed several months ago, the ROI-E680 by TSL Hordatech. This is the ROI-E420 by the same company, and while it's big, it is not quite as big. So I'm gonna get this thing hooked up. What do you think, Kat? Should we hook it up? This may be my new cat here. Yes, I say let's hook it up and take a good proper look at this thing. Here we go. And here we are. We have the light on now, and I've had it hanging for a while, and I've run a few tests, and I am ready to report to you guys on my findings. The first difference you may have noticed is that the shipping protectors are no longer on the diodes. And you also may have noticed that these diodes are just a little bit different than the ones on the 680, which I found to be a little bit interesting. On the 680, you could actually differentiate the 3000 and 5000K diodes quite easily, regardless of the camera type you were using. Here, you can't differentiate them anymore, which is odd because both lights do advertise the exact same spectrum, a spectrum that they call GC3K full phase. But that's okay. There's multiple ways to reach the same end result when it comes to diodes and spectrums. These are still Osram diodes as they were on the E680. But on this E420, the reason that it's called the 420 is once again because of the wattage pull that it has. Now, when I actually tested the wattage pull, I got 435 watts, not 420, as the manual here indicates. See, right here it says 420 watts. So I didn't quite get that, but those type of measurements are always plus or minus a few percentage points, so that's not too weird. Other than that, what are some differences that I can say between this and its bigger cousin? Well, this is a really new release. It came out in April of 2020, and they made a few little changes, like they added these little leveling indicators on both sides to help you make sure that you're leveling it correctly. They changed how the hooks attach a little bit in a way that I thought was a positive modification. The light did come with 4 of these hangers right here. The 2 in the back there that are a bit heavier duty are actually mine, but it did come with 4 of these, like the ones you see here. And over here we still have a dimmer, and the manual didn't actually say a whole lot about the dimmer or anything at all. I'm not sure what this EXT is here, but it seems brighter than the other settings, so I'm guessing this is like some kind of overclocking mode. But otherwise, the dimmer has 25%, 50%, 75%, and the 420 watt mode. That's the 100%. And you've got hookups for controllers and for daisy chaining the light. So that's all the type of stuff that you typically expect to get with a light that's more of a commercial grade build. And the 680 was a commercial grade build, and so is this. So that is why it also has quite the higher price point. While it's quite a bit cheaper than the 680, this still clocks in at $700 US. A good chunk of change for a 9 kilogram light that's about 35 inches by 35 inches across. So on the bright side, it fits very, very nicely inside this 4x4 tent. and I would use it in a 4x4 tent, even though its core coverage is more in the neighborhood of 3 3/4 feet by 3 3/4 feet. Still, I measured it out, and at 2 feet from the ground, it was getting 650 par in the middle. At 18 inches from the ground, it was getting 750 par. And at 12 inches from the ground, 1 foot, it was getting 1100 par, which is pretty good. And on all three of those heights, it was getting 400 right along the edges in terms of par in this 4x4 foot tent. So again, even though the manual didn't indicate an ideal hanging height, I would hang this at about 18 to 24 inches away during vegetative phase and bring it right in to about 12 to 15 inches during the flowering phase. And because of its design, it should have a really even coverage no matter where you hang it in terms of height, but you'll certainly get way more par if it's a lot closer. That's a common thing amongst all LED lights that do not use any fans like this one. They basically trade away some of the heat and some of the intensity in exchange for getting rid of the fan, but that also means that you do gotta bring the lights that are fanless LEDs quite a bit tighter in, even if they're very high quality lights. Now I will link to the slide down in the video description. I'll also have a little discount code in there for you guys. But I won't be giving this one away. In fact, I may grow with it sometime in the near future because this is such a new release, and I thought the old light, the 680, was really, really cool. But I felt it was kind of gargantuan, whereas this is quite a bit more manageable. And I do love running experiments in my 4x4, so the next Grow Journal may have to involve this light in some way. On that note, I hope you found my little exploration of the ROI-E420 useful, and if you did, make sure you're subscribed, that you hit that like button, and we'll see you next time.